My Black Lemonade is our Black legacy. We're celebrating our Black souls, highlighting the beauty that's in all of us, cultivating a world where wealth defines us. It's time. We build our own table to uplift each other. So join me as I make a toast to the culture.
So won't you just sit on down and take you a sip of black lemonade?
Hey everybody, it's Kiki checking in again for myblacklemonade.com. And you know, we love to talk to the culture. That's what it is. Conversations for the culture. I'm checking in with you today. So excited to be talking to an author, okay? Miss Rayna Best is checking in today. Rayna, you with me?
Hey, girl.
Hey, I'm so excited to be talking to you today. Like, congratulations on everything, especially this book you got, Animated Like Me. Like,
yes.
I love the title, first of all, because I've been being called animated my entire life. Okay, let's start there. But when I saw this book, I was like, this has to be an amazing book for kids. So, Rayna, I'm excited to have you on the show. Tell me a little bit about your book.
Thank you. My Black Lemonade. Thank you, Kiki. So I wrote this book about 2 years ago. Wow. Yeah, I wrote it 2 years ago. It's inspired by my oldest daughter and her struggles with inclusion. So in the book, the main character is a zebra, and he struggles with ADHD. And so he has a hard time fitting in. He has a hard time just making new friends and just really accepting himself for who he is.
Yeah.
So he goes throughout the story, just trying to make friends until he gets to a point where he's just fed up and he just gives up. But at that time is where he meets the character that my daughter is based on, Camille, and she's just as loud and proud and just as animated as him. And so together they support each other. They show the other characters in the book how to be a good friend and how to adjust to their personalities. And so I wrote it just to inspire the kids so they could see that, there are other people just like them. And then I also wrote it for the kids who don't have ADHD so they can learn about kids who do have ADHD. And so in the back of the book, I also have parental tips for parents to kind of guide them and help them just in case they don't know where to start or who to talk to about their child with ADHD.
And see, that's so key because I feel like so many kids, even myself, when I think about my childhood, I was blessed with a family who, taught me how to be myself, how to express myself. But we're not always taught how to deal with people who are not like us, right? How to deal with people who are different. So that's a key thing in your book. But I think it's awesome what you're doing for, kids with the books that you're creating, but also take us a little bit back. Tell us, what made you want to become an author? Give us a little bit of your background.
Yeah, so when I grew up as a child, I wanted to be a journalist. I didn't even think about becoming an author.
Oh,
and
wow.
so I would journal because I was going through a lot of traumatic experiences as a child with abandonment and not living with my mom and just all those things that, minority children and some other children go through as well. Yep. And so I would use journalism as an outlet. And then once I got to high school, that's when I started writing little stories that I would put little fake characters and I would add my friends from school. And so that became a thing. But once I got out of high school, I kind of just stopped doing that. And I decided that that really was my passion. But little did I know, but it came back though.
Yes,
it came back. And so what inspired this book is just my daughter and her own struggles with inclusion. Like I said, I used to be a daycare provider. And so I would go to school. I would go to these schools and she would be there. So I would see how other kids would interact with her because she was a little different. And I would also see the other kids who have been diagnosed, who definitely experience, some inclusion issues. And so, but once I left the job, I wanted to start building brands that would represent my children.
Yeah.
And, so I was like, okay, well, how can I show my appreciation for my oldest daughter and, connect with her and lift her up. I was like, oh, well, I already know how to write and rhyme, and I'm just going to create a book.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
That was the first thing. And once I sat down and thought about what exactly I wanted it to be like, it just clicked. It just came to me. So, yeah.
Now,
it's been such a journey.
You touched on something though when you talk about your childhood, right? And the abandonment and things that you went through. I share a little bit of that as well. Like my mom died when I was 9 years old, and I had a very supportive family to gather around me, but it's just nothing like your mom. You know what I'm saying? It's no replacing that. And so I always tell people like to be who you needed when you were younger. And I get that vibe from your books, and I get that vibe from, our conversation already. But I want to know what one thing that Rayna at 12 years old can take from Rayna today? Like if Rayna from 10-year-old Rayna is reading your books today, what's one thing you would want her to catch from that?
Yes. So one thing about my childhood that I'm just now realizing is that the things that I did that I wasn't supposed to do was a result of me wanting validation and me craving that validation from my parents and not getting it. Yeah. So I would date certain people, or I would do certain things that I know was like, looking back, was like, girl, what was you doing? But it was really me searching for that validation. So now, like, what I'm deciding to do is just teach kids about self-love and validating them in the same, instance. And so that's really just what I'm all about right now, is just taking that little girl who I used to be and using the lessons and the things that she's gone through to kind of shape this new generation.
Yep. Now you did touch on when you lost your passion for a little bit there, right? For writing. What was that area about? Like what were you going through in life where you thought you weren't supposed to do this?
It wasn't just like, I think I just got caught up. You know how when you first start off in high school and then like it's like this big new experience for you, and like you start seeing all these boys and like, oh my God. So I think I was just really, if I'm being honest, I was really boy crazy in high school. And so that completely shifted my mindset and made me think about different things and not really focus on like the long haul, what I wanted to do and who I wanted to be as a young Black woman. And so that's what really took me off my game, and just really dealing with my own personal issues of, like I said, not having my mom because she was an addict at the time. And so just dealing with that, looking for validation, seeking attention, and just all these different things played a part into like why I just was kind of like, I don't even know what I want to do at this point.
Well, I'm glad you figured it out. I'm glad you came to terms with the gift, because I know through your books you are being a blessing to so many other kids. So where are you from? Are you from Chicago? Where are you from?
No, I'm from Richmond, California.
Okay, Cali. All right.
Hey.
So you've been born and raised there?
Yes. Okay. Born and raised.
California is dope, but I want to ask you this, anytime you jump off in a ledge and you follow your dreams and you go out on your own, there's always challenges, right? Yes. So what are some of the challenges that you face as an author? What are some of the struggles that you had to overcome?
Girl, so many, especially when you self-publish the way that I did, you'll find numerous, struggle. But just like when you send your manuscript out and getting that first no, it's like, dang, you send it out again and you just keep getting these no's. And so that's what happened with me. I kept being told no until I decided to tell myself yes. And so I decided to self-publish. And then after that, I was like, okay, well, I did it. Now what? So then marketing became another challenge, and trying to get people to believe in my dream. And so that whole thing took on, it was just a lot.
Yes.
It was just a lot. And just recently I self-published my second book. And so I did the whole marketing thing, but after a while it just became overwhelming to the point where I just stopped promoting it, because I was just like, well, why isn't people seeing the vision that I see. Like, why am I not getting the same support that I got previously? And so I had to snap out of it and be like, it's not about who's watching you, who's supporting you, who's sharing your posts.
Yep.
What are those kids thinking and feeling when they read? The kids who do have the book, how do they feel about it?
Exactly.
And that is what's most important. And so today I had to start over. I'm like, okay, we're not gonna worry about it.
Yes, you can't
get it together.
Stress over that, because that's gonna come, right? The audience is gonna come as long as you just put out what God is putting on your heart. Now, your second book is My Skin Has Shapes. Is that the book you were talking about? Okay.
Yes.
Now, again, the title. It caught me, right? Because like, it's a little brown girl with discolored skin, eczema. I got all type of things going on over here. So, tell us a little bit about My Skin Has Shapes.
So that book just sparked because of my second daughter. So I was like, okay, if I'm gonna write about my first daughter, I gotta write about all 20 of my kids. So, so I have 3 daughters, and so she has skin discoloration. So when I would go to like the doctors and they would like do their checkup and stuff, and they would look at her back and they were like, oh, this looks like ice cream swirls, and they would just admire the patterns on her body. And so when thinking about, well, what am I going to do to uplift her the way that I uplifted Camille? And so I was like, I could write a book about skin discoloration.
Yeah.
And so I started to think about some of the things that people have said about her skin. And I was like, that would be so dope if I could write a story to transform her skin into all these different colors, shapes, and objects, and just really bring that self-love to life. And so in the story, that's what she doesn't start off not liking her skin. She starts off letting you guys know, like, I love my skin. And this is what I love about it. And she goes to sleep and she has like this dream that she's like, her skin turns to all these different shapes and colors. And it's just such a magical book. Yeah. And I always say, like, I don't really know where this stuff is coming from, but it's just coming to me.
Yeah, I mean, because you take your imagination and tie it in with your daughter's story, and it's so inspiring, and so, connecting to, like, it helps connect to other kids, because I know for me, I grew up in a predominantly white area as a young child, right? So the first beginning of my childhood, and I had all these bumps on my skin from, I was allergic to the sun. So, and it was like, they would just make so much fun of me, or like, oh my God, what is that? And to know that if there was a book out there, that could teach me how to love my skin and love my different shades and colors, and like, just to know that that's out there. So many kids will be touched by that. So like, girl, don't stop doing what you're doing. Please tell us the stories, because it is definitely needed. Definitely needed.
Yes.
So who are some of the other authors that inspire you?
Girl, I honestly don't have a favorite. Okay. I don't. I'm just gonna be honest. I don't have a favorite, but there are some books that I really enjoy. Like, I enjoy the book Salway. I think that's like a really pretty book. And then I enjoy the book Hair Love. This is a book called Lola at the Library. That's really, really cute. And these are all like books for little Black girls. And so I just love our culture, and I love when people write things for our children, because they need it.
Yes.
So it's definitely needed.
Yes. So do you like encourage kids to spend a certain amount of time reading? Like, how do you get your kids away from iPads and video games and cell phones and TikTok to like actually pick up a book? Because I know a lot of parents struggle with that.
Yeah. So at first, what I was doing, I was setting an alarm for 2:00. And so I would set a reminder on my phone that would say reading and art. And so for just that hour, I would have them do 30 minutes of book time and 30 minutes of art. But now what I started to do was like, I would put that, once the alarm would come on, I would like shut it off, because if I was doing something else. But like now, being honest, but now, but now, like, I let them have their iPad from whatever time they wake up till 10, and then at 10 I take them, and they have to literally find other stuff to do, and it drives me crazy. And I'm like, I really wish that I didn't, but I know that they're just too hooked on it, and I
Yeah.
had to. I really had to. So I take it away now up until 4 o'clock. So from 10 to 4,
Mhm.
they just they got to do what they got to do.
Yes.
But it's not going to be electronic.
I love
So yeah, they
love
just
it, girl. I have nephews that will literally sit on a video game from sun up to sundown. I'm like, did you eat? Did you use the bathroom? I'm like, well, what?
right,
You forget the kid is in the house at some point. So,
right. Like,
know,
what you in here doing?
right. I think more parents need to take some of your tips and help kids disconnect, because it's really, I feel like it's really needed. They need to figure out, how to read books and how to go outside and play and talk to each other. It's like we all talk to each other through phones and social media. It's a crazy time. But I love your tip of setting an alarm and just making them figure it out. Like, that's dope.
Yeah, it had got so bad, Kiki, because my oldest daughter, I would be like, okay, y'all, we going outside. She's like, oh, I don't want to. I'm like, what?
Who
What
don't
kid don't want to go outside? So I'm like, okay, yeah, this we got to do something different. This not gonna work.
Yes. Now, I don't know if you said this, but how old are your daughters?
My oldest, she's 8. She'll be 9 in November. My second, she just turned 4, and then I have a youngest. She's 2. She'll be 3 in July.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Busy.
Okay. Yes, very busy. You're at them developmental ages. There's a lot going on. But I'm just so proud of these books that you were putting out. What's next for you as an author? What else do you want to accomplish? What's next?
I honestly made the decision not just last week, but I had been thinking about it for some time. But just last week, I set it into motion. So I want to be a motivational speaker for teens and just youth overall. And so I signed up for a public speaking course last week, and then I also teamed up with some public speakers today. And so they're going to be kind of mentoring me and teaching me the ropes. And so I'm excited for that. I'm nervous. But I'm not going to let that stop me.
No, because once you conquer the fear, once you do that first speaking engagement, it'll be like second nature. So, I mean, I feel like you have a story just from our conversation today that you can share with young women that will really, help them as they grow. So please keep doing that, girl. I can't wait to see your first speaking engagement. Okay. Well, on the book side, are there any other plans for another book coming out, or what we doing?
Yeah. So I have another book. It's a sequel to Animated Like Me. They'll probably drop at the end of this year, and this one is going to be about anxiety. So it's following Cameron's story and his struggle with ADHD. It's going to be following Camille and her struggle with anxiety, and it's actually longer than Animated Like Me because it has all these different ways that she's trying to cope with it. So you'll see in the story how like she's counting backwards. She's doing all these different things to like calm her anxiety down. And so I don't know when that'll be, but maybe at the end of this year. Cross my fingers.
Well, look, no pressure. Okay, you got books out here for us to enjoy. Tell us a little bit about the virtual events that you've been doing, the virtual story times.
Yeah, so I've been teaming up with different authors, and we've been doing like rooms on Clubhouse, and we've been working together to do like Zoom virtual events where we will feature other authors to come in and share about their books. And then also every now and then I host a live on my Instagram page where I do my own virtual story times where I just read different books from different authors to kind of like shine a light on them and then the books that I love and that my kids enjoy as well.
Okay. So you got to tell everybody where they can get the books, where they can follow you. Give us all the info.
Yeah, so if you want a personalized signed copy of Animated Like Me, you can order it on my website at rbscribes.com. And but if not, you can find Animated Like Me and My Skin Has Shapes on Amazon.com, Walmart.com, and BarnesandNobles.com. And you can follow me on Instagram and all other platforms at rbscribes.
Well, Miss Rayna, RB Scribes, I cannot wait to see what else you have coming up. I'm so excited for these books. I got to get them in the hands of my nephew when I can pull him off the video game. But I definitely appreciate you checking in with us for Conversations with the Culture. And that's my so make sure you guys go get her books. Matter of fact, it's scrolling right across the bottom of the screen, rbscribes.com. Follow her on Instagram. This is definitely something that we want to blow up for our culture because we need it. Like, I can see you doing cartoons and writing cartoons for kids. Like, I think that, yeah, I think we need to put that out there.
I was really thinking that before I even released Anime Like Me, I was like, this would be a dope cartoon. I do want to do that.
Yes,
that's another thing I want to do.
I know kids love cartoons, but you put the medicine in the message. You know, you put the so I would love to see that happen as well. I'm just going to throw that out there. But y'all follow my girl. Check out her website, rbscribes.com. Rayna, so nice talking to you, boo.
Thank you. I love your energy, and thank you for having me.
Thank you. Check it out, myblacklemonade.com, y'all.